the highest. So.
So you just have to hold it for longer and things like that.
Yeah. So.
You're looking at 700-800 degrees.
This one looks like. This one is 840 max.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty hot. Let's swap these out because I don't want to touch.
You don't
that.
ever run the risk of melting any of the componentries like on there?
The bigger risk is actually here, because some of these electronic components are heat and static sensitive, and if you apply heat for too long, you do run the risk of burning some of them out.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life. So.
Okay.
When I first started learning to solder, they gave us these little heat sinks that you could clip on to wires that would dissipate some of the heat from the soldering iron. And I used them, and just felt like a surgeon with clamps all over the place. And at some point, I realized there was no need for them at all.
Does switching the wires reverse the way it will turn?
With a motor like this, yes. So the way you can control the direction of DC motor like this. Does anyone have a battery?
Yeah, this.
I saw a battery. Didn't someone have one? Oh no, that's my other class.
So you change the direction.
Yeah, so black, if you switch black and red, it'll change the direction of spin. And if you want to be able to change the direction dynamically, you can actually build a circuit that will switch back and forth between the two.
What do you mean, like oscillating or like?
Well, so that you can change direction.
It changes polarity.
So you can choose between one or the other.
Oh, I see. That's pretty cool.
Let me just finish this out. And then you want some wires, Adesh?
Yeah.
What kind of wires? Here we go. Did you get it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I've got nice clean wires. And you want to attach this and this? Do you know which is which?
It shouldn't matter very much.
Okay, so you see in this particular case, they're already frayed. The ends, can everybody see well?
So you just unclip them.
Yep. Sorry, that was a really good example of what you shouldn't do. When you're clipping wires, you should always hold one end, because otherwise they do fly all over the place, and in this particular case, that's one of the potential targets. So you always want to keep track of your loose ends. When you're clipping solid wire, for example, one way to do it is to hold the other piece with your hand. Another way is just kind of cup your hands so that it bounces back off my hand. So here it is. So we're going to strip just a little bit, about 1 centimeter from each one. See how nice and solid it looks when it's fresh?
So there's no way to fix a frayed?
And then, to what?
To fix a frayed,
yeah, you
cut
just
it.
clip it and, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to twist
If you cut
it.
it too many times, you end up weird.
Yeah, that's so let's say what if you got to the position where you cut it too many times and then you just need to
use
Buy a new
another one or
wire.
add more.
Just like a
you just
wire.
gotta
She gotta get good.
True.
Need to practice more.
This tip is already.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what the margins of tolerance are for.
Create your own margins.
So you see it just kind of melts right into the braids. And then in this particular case, because we're not splicing, you say you don't care which is which? Oh, this is bad. So it looks to me like this was connected to this and this was connected to this. This is unusual to have this little circuit board on the motor. So I'm assuming that this is meant to connect to this and this is meant to connect to this. So this just adds a nice little challenge. So normally what I would do is I would just stick the wire through the hole, and also, but using the needle nose pliers, bend it around, squeeze it in place. But I'm not going to do that in this case because it has to also connect to this. I'm going to come in from this side. Actually, I guess I'll still put the bend in it. But I want to make sure that it connects both to this and this. I'm going to bend this around to get a nice secure connection. Squeeze it in place. But here I'm going to have to be really careful because I need enough solder to connect here and here. So
Want me to hold it?
that's okay. I have helping hands. And in this case, I'm going to put the solder right where these two things come together. And that's just enough to hold it in place. And no more. And that's a pretty quick joint. And now it's connected to both this and this.
How quickly does solder like cool off?
Just a second. I mean, you can see it solidifying.
Mm-hmm.
The solder has to be shiny. If you see that it's dull, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So you're putting it through the hole there?
Yep, and in this particular case, I'm not even using the needle nose because this is such low gauge wire that I can bend it easily with my fingers. But I guess to get a little tighter.
Not all motors are going to have the little like open areas.
Most motors are going to just have these two
If you dip
Prongs.
sticking out without this piece.
Oh, it's not
Okay.
melting.
it will be
So
shiny.
you don't just ever worry about contaminating it with oils for your hands?
I never have worried about it, no.
Okay.
And a lot of times you,
I've
you
never had
that's
an
why you
issue.
don't know what to do.
So to change the direction, it would be just to switch the cables on the motor, not on the circuit board, right?
Yes.
That'd be the easiest way.
So the tip
So
isn't getting hot.
probably this circuit controls the direction.
So it's not.
So this is probably already
It goes,
taking
yeah,
care
it
of
goes
here.
back and forth.
Yeah,
It's like
which is
a
one of the
solder
reasons
goes-
it probably doesn't matter which wire
Yeah,
is
those they
connected
sell
to.
in fabric.
But actually,
No.
this is a good point. Because of this circuit board, there might be a polarization to this motor, and it might not work properly.
Well, now he
There's a chance of that.
You gotta
I
fix
might
it.
have to go back and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I know.
there, that's all.
$20. A toy.
Does it matter if
No, you can just go back and
mix-
fix it.
Yeah, just desolder it.
yeah.
Just do exactly what you
And
did.
anyway, there you go. And then, you know,
No problem.
Another thing I really recommend, I use twist ties, not twist ties,
Zip ties?
cable ties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like do that here for strain relief, and then even a dot of hot glue.
Oh.
So, and then I would kind of clean up these wires also with cable tie. So,
Cable tie?
yeah, you know, there's another word for them.
Zip ties.
Zip ties, yeah.